Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, January 19th, 2022. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame. We saw a significant meltdown in the previous session here, whereby price trended lower throughout most of the session here. You can see closing near the lows of the day, taking out the lows of that rejection day from last week, and closing with a high ADR day. You can see right here about 160% of ADR. The idea heading into today, based on yesterday afternoon's trading room, was that we'd likely see a fade after trend day that could take us as high as 46.16s. That 46.16 is the previous session's midpoint. The idea there is to watch the previous session's low. If price can push back above the previous session's low, as it has already, 45.60. Any retest as deep as 45.60 could still be bought for a continuation higher toward that 46.16 zone. So right now, the previous session's low, very good support. But even if that 45.60 is not hit, the previous week's low could still be in play. The previous week's low comes into play at about 45.77. And right now the ES is attempting to establish acceptance above that area for a continuation up. Now, if by the end of the day we finish strong and we finish near the highs of the session, that could lead to a two-day bounce, kind of like what we saw before. But we are clearly in a downtrending market. This bounce could be clearly counter trend for a continuation down. Another thing here is we haven't reached the previous month's low yet, or this previous key range low yet, rather. This level right here is very important. That's the previous month's low as well. We still have that level to come into. That's 44.92, and as long as we stay below the monthly midpoint, which is way up here at 46.46, we still have more downside into that low. So again, while this may be a continuation up in the near term, any failure to hold the previous session's low later in the day could open up additional selling pressure down the road. Let's take a look here at the NQ. The NQ here is back above the previous session's low, back above the previous week's low. That range is between 15,150 and 15,170. Any pullback into that zone could still provide a bounce opportunity. Again, high range down day yesterday. In a downtrending market, these high range down days can tend to lead to a fade after trend day. Again, perhaps as high as the previous session's midpoint. The previous session's mid comes in at 15,412. So that level right there could be in play today. Overall, this market has been averaging about 400 points per day on a 5 and 10 day split. So from the low of the day here, 15,050, we could see a move as high as 15,450. So 400 points off the low. Right now we're trading 300. We still got another 150 points to go of range to the upside from current prices, and any pullback, again, as deep as 150 to 200, that could provide an opportunity to buy this thing back up to the 450 zone. Now, any failure to hold the previous session's low here could open up again another round of selling pressure as this thing continues to stretch downward. Let's take a look now at crude oil. Now, crude oil has hit our target, 86. Today's high, 86.41. That's a target we've talked about for a little while here, in that it was a market structure target. Here you have the 76 level. Here you have the 86 level. We got near it before. We failed to hold that market structure. We dropped to these lows, great support here, and started to work our way back up. Beginning of this year here, you can see 76 was taken bid. That was an indication that we were likely in a transition phase through the top of this market structure and going into the next highest level. That's 86. We got it today. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, that we might be one day away from hitting 86 and starting to top out in the near term. This is a big time level now. This is also the previous year's high. That level right there is the previous year's high. So if we start to see rejection in this point, we could pull back as deep as 80 or perhaps all the way into 76. Either one of these could still provide a bounce as this market continues to remain strong, especially in a high inflationary period. Again, we have a key range target that could be in play up above. The next major target is going to be 87.63, and beyond that is 96. So as long as we continue to see this market buy the dips here, we could be working our way as high as 96 here down the road. All right, let's take a look now at Bitcoin. Bitcoin here is attempting to hold above that 40K level. Big time 40K level hit last week. Right now, attempting to develop a higher low. 42,500 is the key level in the near term right now. Above 42,500 opens up 43,500 in the short term. But again, as we've talked about here before, this market remains in a kind of a downtrend. It's going to take a significant rejection type of day here to get this thing going, but it can certainly happen. The one thing that looks very similar here to the last time it turned around is kind of this period here where it dropped in toward 40K right there. As we did here, we dropped into 40K, price pops, and then right here is a higher low, and right here it's attempting to form a higher low, and right there, big dose of buying, and that's what got this thing going back up and ultimately pushed this thing back to these highs. Is that type of move going to happen again? Again, we have to see the energy come in, and it's just not seeing that energy right now. Instead, a lot of downside selling pressure still in play. Again, if we fail to hold 40K, there's a major test at the yearly low, and that could offer the best buying opportunity of the year. All right, let's take a look now at Ethereum. Ether futures here showing very similar price action to Bitcoin. It did confirm a double sell signal yesterday in a downtrending phase. That would tend to suggest new lows ahead. Again, we still haven't hit market structure here. 2750 is a good market structure level. That could offer a bounce. But right now, price kind of chopping around composite VPOC. And any failure to hold that 2750, again, opens up the bottom end of value on the volume profile, in addition to the CLVN down below 1750, which again could offer the best buying opportunity of the year should it reach those levels. As of right now, 2750 still best near-term support level to watch for a bounce. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.